Greetings and welcome, everybody. My name is Mike Reinhardt. I'm the Director of Product Marketing here at Opsera. I'll be your guest host today for episode number 13 of our DevOps Huddle series that we're calling Shift from Manual to Automated Security and Quality in Your Salesforce Apps. I'm also joined by two of my esteemed colleagues who have deep experience in the Salesforce environment, and I'd like to give them a chance to introduce themselves before we get started. Then we'll cover a bit of housekeeping and then begin today's session. So I'll turn it over to Punitha to start and introduce herself.
Hi, Mike. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle session, episode 30. So I'm Punitha with 10 plus years of Salesforce experience, and I work with Opsera as a solutions architect. Over to you, Rajeshwar.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Punitha. Hi, everyone. So myself, I'm Rajeshwar. I work as a lead software engineer at Opsera. I've been with Opsera for almost 2 years. Have an overall of 12 years of experience working on, on building solutions. Yeah. Thanks.
Great, thanks. Looking forward to your demonstration later. So just so you know, the session will be recorded for future viewing on the Opsera YouTube channel. You can find many other recorded sessions, including the previous 12 episodes of our DevOps Huddle there, as well as some other entertaining videos and informational videos. Please subscribe. And that way you'll be notified also of any new content that we post. So today's session is going to be covering automating Salesforce quality, integrating a number of disparate tools into a single pane of glass for visibility end to end, also employing security guardrails for repeatable and predictable results, enabling all the constituents in the Salesforce delivery to collaborate, basically democratizing the data so that everybody can benefit from the visibility and security insights inside that environment. And then finally, we're going to tease a little bit of a announcement that we made recently about a product called GitCustodian related to secrets management. This is especially timely because of the recent Heroku breach. So with that, I'll turn it over to Punitha to take us down the rest of the path here.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for the quick intro to the session today. Before we start off, I would like to have a quick recap of our previous huddle, where we spoke about flexible deployment options, how Opsera as a solution provides, capabilities of Git merge conflict and all the different use cases, how within Salesforce, how we can do org-to-org deployments, Git to org deployments, and how we have an independent task for Git merge conflict and quick deploy. But in today's session, we will move further into how Opsera as a tool has integrations to all the different quality gateways, be it from a tool for best practices perspective, your code base perspective, quality gateways, and also from a testing perspective, where you develop some kind of functionality within Salesforce, and you have all these automated test scripts that can be run using Selenium and Provar. I think Rajeshwar has more deep dive use cases based on our customers. Rajeshwar, would you like to shed some light on that?
Sure. So so organizations have been moving to adopting secure SDLC. So DevOps was what people have slowly moved to DevSecOps and Ops, and that's gaining more traction. Basically, and DevSecOps is basically a methodology that provides a holistic approach to software development process by incorporating not just the end part of deploying the component, but it all starts from the development, from integration, operations, and security at this stage, basically. So this includes or involves or starts from the dev as well as from the QA team. And one of the biggest challenges a software team has to make sure is to make informed choices about these external software or tools or products that are there in the market when it comes to DevOps. So they have to do it, that's a given system, whether it's properly, if there's a properly secured, and it'd be a lot challenging, especially when you're trying to integrate with the party tool. So in short, basically adhering to those SALSA frameworks. We have basically went through a couple of most of the DevOps tools that are predominantly used in the market, scrutinize them, and I have incorporated some of the major SAST tools, which are basically the static application security tools that are available in the market, and especially when it comes to Salesforce pipeline. So as you see here, we have integrations to SonarQube, CodeScan PMB, static code analyzer. That's more onto this, the SAST tools that I was talking about. And again, the idea basically empower the coders, basically put into practice of writing more secure code with these tools like SonarQube, source code analyzer, and detecting those vulnerabilities and security hotspots at the early stage, and then and these tools basically help them to help the developers or suggest the fixes that needs to be made. Apart from these, we have also integrations to Selenium and Provar. These are the most commonly used testing framework tools that are there. And yes, we do also have out of the box integrations with Jira, Slack, and ServiceNow, which helps in basically letting you know or from inside chance to when a particular pipeline step execution has been completed.
Yeah. Thanks, Rajeshwar. Also, as a tool, we provide metadata backup and rollback options, which kind of helps you strategize based on governance, or have a complete version control and have control over your rollback strategies from a release management perspective or DevOps perspective. So that's also one of the features we would touch base in depth in future huddles. With respect to today's huddle, also one of the key topics is compliance, audit, and governance. We would quickly talk about how we can have approval gateways, audit logs, and basically how these will sit within your DevOps process, which will enable secure and compliant releases into production. So moving on to the next slide, what we have is in-depth, conversation about each and every of this topic. So talking about quality and security from a Salesforce aspect, me as a developer or as a tech lead in my previous organizations, one of the biggest challenges I always saw was how do we get our code scanned even before it hits UAT or even before it goes to production, right? There was always some kind of manual effort involved, or some kind of integration, or some custom integration, or all these things had to be in like different tools. Getting everything into one single pane of glass was always a huge task. I think Opsera as a tool has enabled us to have this in a single pipeline, which kind of improves efficiency and visibility towards how our code base is. So I think Rajeshwar, you have more experience on this perspective. You have seen all our customers use, and some. It would be great if you could share some kind of a use case where the tools which we have, like SonarQube and Salesforce Code Analyzer, which has been integrated within the pipelines to make sure our their code base and delivery is compliant to all the quality and security standards.
Sure. So as I mentioned, Opsera basically helps in having these integrations with testing tools, and therefore you can help write secure code practices, even have automated testing being performed, and with the strong third-party software vetting that we do at our end. Basically the idea is to guarantee the auditability of the source and the integrity of the providers, basically the code that you're writing, whether it's more secure or not. So I mean there has been quite a lot of reports over the past few years. So almost there's a four increase in the cyber attacks that has been happening with respect to when it came to when it came from 2020 to 2021 basically, and again, Gartner has also predicted that there will be almost 45 to 50% increase of attacks when it comes to 2025. And it's not just about securing your code, but also about securing. It's not just that you have to worry about securing your application as such, but all the DevOps tools that are using in the market. The attackers are more prone to attack these kind of the tools that you use as part of your DevOps cycle as well. And that's where Opsera helps in bringing the quality and security scans. You can put in, you can easily configure SonarQube quality gate, configure thresholds for the static code analyzer that we have, the native integration for which we have. And then it's easy to, get alerted when there's a security breach or a threshold being met as well. So yeah, these are some of the cool features that we have within Opsera.
Yeah, that kind of talks about even the Slack and MS Teams integration, and also we have Jira and ServiceNow. I think anytime there's a violation, we can easily create automated Jira tickets wherein like violation from the rules which you have defined for your organization in SonarQube or Salesforce Code Analyzer, it could create a Jira ticket, and unless and until that is closed, your code is actually not moving forward. So that's the kind of feature that has been enabled within the Opsera pipeline. Moving on to security and compliance, I think this is also like having multiple tools. Let's take, for example, as an organization, I'm using SonarQube as well as Provar for testing, SonarQube for your code base best practices and to check all the violations, and you have Provar or Selenium for all your testing purposes, where it tests your features, and you have a regression suite embedded in your Provar. So having all this in one point, instead of jumping to all the different applications, having it as a report or like a dashboard within the tool is something I think will give a very good picture on where your code base stands, right? I think that is something also we have in Opsera, and that kind of is very powerful because it's actionable. Of course, I'll be showcasing that, but Rajesh, would you like to add some more points on the way we display our dashboards and related to compliance and security?
Yeah, I think you've covered it well. Since we have these integrations to tools, it's equally important to basically track these metrics, have those KPIs generated, so that over the time, right, you can evaluate the KPIs, the sites, and also like make sure that your team is basically adhering to those secure code practices. And when you see that you're the maintain, which basically lets you know that whether the code maintainability is getting more easier, the security aspects are covered or not, and all. Yeah. And yes, also to role-based access control, we do have RBAC mechanism being put in place in Opsera, so that let's say if you want to bring in a particular tool onto Opsera, have that control being placed fully for a certain set of users or developers within your team. With RBAC, you can control who can have access to not just the tools, but also the pipelines, who can basically also edit those pipelines or view the dashboards and insights. And that's a great way to go about having governance put into place as well.
Yeah, I mean, having control over what users can see and not see within a tool itself is like something very important and crucial from a DevOps perspective. So with respect to backup and rollback of metadata, as mentioned earlier as well, we can create continuous backups for each and every run of your pipeline. And that kind of creates indirectly a version control system for your organization. And having that will enable you to build a proper rollback strategy whenever things go wrong, or you want to revert back to the latest piece of code if there was any kind of leakage or any kind of rollback that was required. Moving on to pipeline and blueprints, this is a unique feature we have at Opsera. So when we say blueprints, right, it's the ease of use of this feature, basically. Let's say you have an audit within your enterprise and you want to pull out an audit log, or what has actually gone into your product base, code base of your product. It's so simple within Opsera that you can just pull up the pipeline and just at a click of a button, you will be able to generate these logs and just send it across. I think there are more technicalities and features. Rajesh, would you like to add on this?
Yes, all the pipeline executions within Opsera, we basically keep a track of the logs that gets generated for those runs. So over a period of time, if the organization needs to present the audit data as part of a CM tool, right, where they want to scrutinize the deployments and the various activities that are performed with respect to the deployments or pipeline executions, that can be easily been taken care of using the blueprints and audit sections that we have. So with help of blueprints, we help you in providing the logs for each and every run count, and also it's quite easy to compare between two different runs, and also like keep a generate the download the logs basically for over a period of time. And I guess, yeah, Punita, once discuss once you demo it, I guess that would throw in more justifications.
Yeah. So about GitCustodian, I think Rajesh, you would be the best person to talk about it, how unique this feature is for our platform and how we have developed this.
Sure. So all this while we'll be talking about how secure we can have the code being developed, how we can put in the practice of ensuring that your developers have secure coding being developed, code being developed basically, and also like attain integration testing for faster delivery of the software. Now, what again is important, as Mike did mention as part of the initial slide, right? The recent Heroku case where there was certain, basically the GitHub tokens, basically some of the Heroku's, GitHub repositories got exposed to cyber attacks, basically because there was a token was being compromised. And this leads to a question like, it's not just about making your code here, it's also about making sure that there are no secrets or passwords or token being exposed as part or being tracked as part of your code repositories, right? And therefore we came up with this new awesome feature which is called as GitCustodian, which helps in basically scanning the entire repository across the repositories, across the branches, to scan for any presence of secrets or credentials or passwords across your repository. And then with every commit that you make, and we can also like perform a scan and then make sure that your code does not have any configuration related activity, and it's completely isolated from the SCM that you use for your development.
Yeah. Thanks, Rajeshwar, for that explanation. Before I move on to the demo, I know we're talking a lot about all the abilities which we provide as a platform, but also I want to highlight that Opsera as a platform is SOC 2 Type 2 compliant, and all the in transit and at rest is all the data is encrypted, and we use secure connection and store all the credentials in Vault. And yeah, I just wanted to highlight that as a platform, we follow what we preach. So yes, moving on to the demo. So this is how our regular.
Punita, just real quick, I just want to encourage people to type any questions that they might have in the Q&A window, again, at the bottom of your nav bar, that we might want to be able to address in this session. So thank you. Just wanted to pause for a second.
Yes. And Mike, would you like to launch the poll now or later?
Thank you for reminding me. Yes, let's launch our poll. We've got two questions that we would love to get your feedback on, again, to help guide the demonstration that we're going to be doing today, related to the code scanning tools that you have in your environment and the automated testing tools in your environment. If you could just take a moment and select which of these apply to your organization, your environment, that'll help us in kind of talking about the various aspects of our platform. And again, these are multiple choice questions, so you can select as many options that fit your environment. Okay, I'll stop it there and show you guys what the results were. So it looks like Apex PMD is a clear leader on the code scanning side with a little bit of SonarQube thrown in. And then automated testing tools seem to be outside the ones that we normally see. So I'll be curious to learn more about that.
Yeah, definitely. We would like to know what the other ones are.
Yeah, if you wouldn't
But-
mind, I'd put those into the chat window or the Q&A box. That would be great.
Yes. And just to quickly answer, I see that a lot of them use Apex PMD. So Salesforce Code Analyzer is something we have built within Opsera, and which is a static code analysis. It does a static code analysis. The unique feature of this is it also takes care of not just Apex classes, but also all the LWC components, which has all the JavaScript based coding, right? So I think Salesforce Code Analyzer is something that should be used going forward wherever you're developing LWC components and so on. So I'll quickly go showcase how that is done within Opsera as a tool and how we can run this pipeline. So on any given enterprise, this is how you can have literally all the steps that could be involved in a deployment lifecycle for Salesforce. We have the create package XML. The metadata transform is nothing but replacing any kind of text you want from one environment to another. For example, your email IDs or custom labels or anything like that. That reduces your manual step or any kind of failure saying, okay, this email ID does not exist, especially in reports. This is something that's a very common error we do see. With Salesforce Code Analyzer, like if you see this pipeline, for demonstration purpose, I have configured Code Analyzer as well as SonarQube, but technically it would be just one step. Also, I've configured an approval gateway right after that. So what the step does is if there is any kind of failure or no failure, if there is a failure, of course, all your Slack channels or MS Teams groups would get notified. But if there's no failure, the approver would come into the system, would be able to look at the report of SonarQube or any tool, scanning tool you have configured within the pipeline, and would be able to comfortably approve it without second guessing the pipeline. Then we have the package validation step, which would validate your package against your destination org. And then we have the backup step wherein we take the metadata, which is about to be replaced by this package within a code, Git repository. Then we have the latest package pushed to Git. Then we execute all the test classes and deploy. So deep diving into the Salesforce Code Analyzer, if you look at this is how the configuration looks like. And this is a one-time setup which you will have to do, wherein you configure Code Analyzer as one of the tools within your organization and set up all the different rules. So for example, the demonstration, I have set up Apex rule, JavaScript, performance. There are different categories for each rule: code style, design, documentation, ECMAScript 6, all of the static code analysis rules are configured within this particular tool. And you can pull in the rules applicable to your pipeline based on whatever is required for your enterprise. So I just pulled in the performance one and I just configured it and clicked save. Similarly, you can do the same for SonarQube. Like Rajeshu, you can add some use cases here, what you've seen. I know most of our customers use SonarQube as well.
That's right. So it is how the SonarQube configuration looks like. Just select the job as SonarScan, mention the repositories that you want to scan the particular branch. And in case if you want to limit the scan to a certain set of folders, let's say only to Apex class, or maybe even to a couple of Apex classes, you can just mention the name of Apex classes, the path to those Apex classes as part of the Sonar source path field that you see over here. And so, the way how you've seen is that users did want to basically scan not just their branch, but they also wanted, an organization grows up, having the entire branch being scanned can be a bit of a, and tracking them to closure can be a bit of a pain. So to start with, users can also like limit the scans to just the components that are being selected as part of your deployment. And basically, let's say if you select a couple of Apex classes as part of your deployment, and then the scan is just limited to them, or just for a few of the Aura or components or Lightning LWC components, then the scan gets limited based on the components that you select. So this is the flexibility that we offer with respect to the Sonar scan. And obviously data code analyzer, we do have an option to, not just scan the class triggers or pages, but also the Aura and the LWC components. Basically, we have like multiple rule engines that are fit into the static code analyzer, which Salesforce analyzer, sorry, which are the PM rules and the ESLint and JSLint rules, basically.
Yeah. Thanks, Rajeshwar. So moving on to the Provar scan. This is something which we have recently rolled out, and we can see that we can configure Provar as a system testing tool and make sure that all the test classes are configured here. And Rajeshwar, over to you to elaborate on how Provar is being used with some of our customers and how we can have parallel pipelines.
Sure. Connecting to Provar is quite simple. Just bringing your license to Opsera, and as Punita did mention, all the the credentials are basically stored in a separate dedicated vault for each customer. That's how we maintain our multi-tenant architecture. And in case if you want to invoke Provar scripts type of certain environment variables depending on the target where you're deploying to, we do have that flexibility as well. And Punita, can you also show the report that we generated as part of Provar if it's already there?
Yeah, I will need to check that. Just one second.
No issue. We can go with the Sonars.
Yeah. So I think we also wanted to talk about the way we have the visibility and dashboards for SonarQube. This is just one single example which we have, wherein we show all the security ratings which we get out of a single pipeline or a set of pipelines, which can be like, we can drill down on this and see where is your, major errors coming up, and, we display it at this level. Yeah. Rajeshwar, would you like to add anything?
Again, Opsera, the idea is that Opsera being the pane of glass where you can view not just the scans that you execute, but also you can, as I mentioned, that analyze the metrics, analyze the insights, get to see the different vulnerability reports that you get as part of each repository scans, and then you can also drill down onto viewing each critical issue within the SonarQube dashboard itself by just clicking the report set.
Yeah. Thank you, Rajeshwar. Also, what I wanted to highlight is about GitCustodian as a tool, how we have it configured and how it is, each and everything is reportable. So we know that basically it scans your whole repository and, pulls out all the vulnerabilities like your email, if you have an API key that is being exposed in your code base. So this is how the report looks like. And I have a screen grab of this particular scan, which we have done within our tool. And we can see that there is a exposure of, vulnerability, which was detected for one of our code base as a sample. So this is how GitCustodian works. And this is how, the GitCustodian scan actually catches the vulnerability and lets you know, okay, hey, you have this kind of vulnerability, please fix this. So this is how GitCustodian works. Yeah, over to you, Rajeshwar, if you'd like to add anything more on GitCustodian.
Yeah, how practical can be with respect to Salesforce is like, I'll just show, let you know a simple use case where, for example, if you were to connect to Provar or run Selenium test cases, you have to like make sure that the encrypted form of the Salesforce tokens are being part of your repositories, right? Basically the dot sequence, and exactly what Punita did pull out. That's how we also wanted to empower developers, where we give an option of counting the tools within this Provar step configuration, where you just have to select the Salesforce tool registry and configure within Opsera, and you don't have to worry about having your repositories carry forward the credentials or the tokens that are needed to connect to the systems.
Yeah, thanks, Rajeshwar. And the report which you had just requested. So when we run a scan, be it the SonarQube or Salesforce Code Analyzer or the Provar, this is how a report gets generated, and this can be extracted from your insights and circulated for internal purpose or have a fancy dashboard on your homepage. So I will end the demo here and move back to the presentation. Over to you, Mike.
Great, thanks, Punita and Rajeshwar. That was a great presentation. You covered a lot of ground in a short amount of time. I just wanted to highlight one of the questions was asked during the presentation, is asking, is our product a Salesforce product or an independent company product? Unlike our competitors, we are a independent company. Our solutions do work both in and out of the Salesforce environment. We have customers in both types of cases, as well as independently of each other. But yes, we are independent of Salesforce, but yeah, unlike our competitors.